In this video, you're going to learn about how to attach attachments. This specifically is going to be the stem. So we're going to cut our remaining amount of clay so that we can have a good sized stem here. It's probably about like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch wide. And we're really just going to start forming it with our fingers. So stems are more round, but they're still squarish. So we're going to create that, and then it kind of has like little divots. So I'm using my needlepoint tool to make some roundness so then I can pinch my corners. You're really going to see how this just really develops the stem. So kind of like having pointy corners but not, and that's how you kind of need to imagine it. But also stems go from a thick base to a skinny base. So I'm also going to try my best to pull the clay down so it's thicker at the bottom than it is at the top. Really, you're just going to learn how to work with clay during this part, how your fingers work with the clay. It's a learning process, really. So it takes a bit of time, pinching it. Put it on the pumpkin to see what it would look like. Now, add a tiny twist to your stem. It's going to just add some interest. You can already see it coming along. And just continue to smooth it out. Remember, if your clay is a little dry, don't be afraid to use a damp sponge to help you with the smoothing process. That little twist is going to make it a little bit more interesting. And then notice it kind of has like a little point-ish type look at the top. I'll show you why I do this a little bit later on when I add texture. But now just really imagine what it would look like on your pumpkin. I look on top so you can see the angle. There you go, smoothing it out, really making sure you like what it looks like on the pumpkin. Yes, awesome, you love it, you're just adding those last minute details. Now it's time to figure out how to put it actually on the pumpkin to make it stay on the pumpkin. Because if you just put it on like that, it does not attach in any way, shape, or form. So make it exactly how you want it. I'm going to say that again. Make it exactly how you want it. And then put it to the side. Now we're going to score and slip. So score is just like scratching. That's how I remember. S and S. Score, scratch. Scratch in all directions and cut kind of deep into the surface. You want to do it on both sides that you are attaching together. This shouldn't be new to you guys because you did this when you put the pinch pots together. So we're just repeating that score and slip process. Get your slip. Remember to dab. Do not smooth it in. Do that dabbing motion so it gets into all the scratches you just created. If you smooth it over, then it's just going to smooth over all the scratches and you just undid what you just did. Now here's the method. Put it on there and then press and wiggle. Now make sure you're holding and supporting both sides. Now this press and wiggle motion allows it to really stick together. So make sure you do that, the press and the wiggle or the jiggle, whatever you want to call it. Now we're not going to leave it like this because it looks bad. So we are going to smooth them together to really attach it. So use your wood modeling tool. Now watch how I just kind of smooth them together. Now if your clay is not wet plastic clay, it's going to be kind of hard to do this. So if it does not smooth together just on its own, don't be afraid to add a coil, just like we did with the pinch pot, to connect them together. But you really don't need to do that unless you don't have enough clay to smooth it over or it's too dry to do this stage. So that wood modeling tool is going to be your friend during this, and use again the more flat side, so not the concave side, but the other side that kind of has more roundness because it will just be a lot easier for you. Use that damp sponge to help kind of clean it up once you've smoothed it together. Now you need to do it all the way around on every side. You can't leave one side where you don't fully attach it or it might separate once it dries. This is a really important part of adding any clay to another clay body, which is adding attachments. Okay, so I've done all the sides. It's good to go. I've cleaned it up so it doesn't look messy anymore. and I'm really happy with it. So this should stay together.